Hello once again. Finally, we've got to the point of making another video. So, the information I'm going to be putting forward on this will probably be rehashed several times throughout future videos, presented in different ways, because this is the reason why I've been so slow doing things, or one reason at least. Trying to get it all organised, it's difficult. So I'm just going to be waffling. I'm going to be reading off this thing that I've wrote up. I've already wrote another 4 pages since this, and I'm going to probably write more. But it works as a lesson plan for the time being, sort of thing. Like everything else, this is my conclusions. I'm not saying I'm right on everything. Do your own research and come to your own conclusions. You know that I believe in layers because I'm always banging on about it. And what I'm going to be talking about, as you can tell by the title, is going to be very controversial. It's going to probably annoy a lot of people. Some people are going to say I'm a heretic. That's just the way it is. But at least hear me out first. And like I said, the information in this video is just a small part of it. There's other subjects that are linked together. And I can't talk about all at once unless I want the video to be several hours long. So I'm going to read bits, I'm going to paraphrase bits. This is just a guidebook for me to try not to forget too much. So, many of you who know about the Nephilim, right? Genesis chapter 6, we probably know this by now, that the sons of God, or the sons of Elohim, came down, had sex with the daughters of men, mankind in other words, produced Nephilim, fallen ones, sometimes translated as giants, genetic hybrids. It's a bit crazy, but that's basically what it says. And if you go in the book of Hanoch or Enoch, it goes into a lot more detail. The book of Yasha or Jasher, chapter 4 verse 18, kind of says the same thing, that the leaders taught people how to mix animal species together. So this is old, this is ancient, this has been going on very long time. This is where a lot of mythology comes from, your giants and your minotaurs and your centaurs, or your hybrids. People say that's science fiction, but science fiction is often based in fact, or it becomes fact. Now if you look at the news media, we know they lie a lot, but they tell you little bits of truth here and there. They've made spider goats. It's a goat, but there's some Kevlar in the milk, and the military extract it to help make, Kevlar plating or whatever. They've made glow-in-the-dark pigs. They've made all sorts of weird chimeras. And like I said, what you see in the films, the concept of it's true. Maybe not to that extent yet, I don't know. But animal-human hybrids, giants, all the stuff that people say is myth, it all stemmed from stuff that wasn't myth. Now every culture, religion, almost everyone, they talk about these things. There's lots of parallels. You'll notice when you're studying the teachings of various religions, there's also lots of parallels. You'll notice that you'll often hear a particular being and he'll have the same name but in a different cultural language, right? And this, I believe, mostly is because everything stems from the Tower of Babel. Now, you had the biblical flood of Noah, okay, and him and his 3 sons and his wives and that, they established civilization again, and this is where it started off from. And I think the Tower of Babel is a key to understanding pretty much everything that's going on in the whole world. So I call this video the original Pantheon, as per the title, right? Because it's my thesis, for want of a better word, that the original Pantheon, I know it's a pagan word, but whatever, is essentially Yahweh Elohim and his Benot, Benim, whatever you want to call them, his sons. Okay, so you have Yahuwah the creator, and he has his sons. His initial family that he made before he made the earth and us and all the rest of it, right? And him and his sons, or angels, or whatever you want to call them, would have been split into several different languages, and therefore the teachings get twisted at the same time. And this is the thing what's happened. So many people will also say, well, that can't happen because, we don't have all these gods. There's only one God, which is Yahuwah, right? I agree that he's the only true God, is in a creator. But the scripture also says don't worship other Elohim or gods. So there's obviously other type of gods, or whatever you want to call them. And I think what happened is, when these messengers come down, people worshipped them as gods, right? Whether Nephilim or not. So if you go to Isaiah 45, Yeshayahu, if you look at verse 5, it's I am Yahweh, and there is none else. There is no Elohim besides me. I girded thee, though thou hast not known me, right? And he says this type of thing many, many times throughout the whole section really. Now you can look at it as saying there's no other gods, or you can look at it as saying there's no other gods that are, you know, as good as me or have the same power as me or whatever. And I think that's more like what it's saying if you consider the rest of the scripture. Right? Like I say, if you look at 45:18, for thus saith Yahweh that created the heavens, Elohim himself that formed the earth and made it. He hath established it, he created it not in vain, he formed it to be inhabited. I am Yahweh and there's none else. Now, when you see the word Elohim, some people will teach that it's not just, you know, God is in the singular, it's in the plural, and it can be both. It depends on the syntax and the sentence structure that it's used in, right? Now, before going to the word Elohim, again, we've all been told that, you know, Islam, Christianity, and Judaism, and anything in between, like, you know, I use the phrase Netzari Israelite is what I believe, but anything in between, they all say it's Abrahamic religion, and they say it's monotheistic, as in one God, right, or one El. So you know what monotheism means, according to this at least, what I've got dragged from the net. A doctrinal belief that there's only one God. We know polytheism, poly being more than one, the belief in worship of more than one God. But there's a third option, which I didn't know about until a few months back or whatever, monolatry, or monolatrism, which is the worship of one God without denial of the existence of other gods. So it's saying that you can believe in more than one God, or whatever, power, whatever, but you only worship one. And I believe this is really what the scriptures, the Hebrew scriptures, are teaching. It's not what Christianities and Judaisms have taught, but we're going to talk about it. Like I said, it's controversial. So the word Elohim, if you look in the Strong's at least, H430, what it says, plural of H433, gods in the ordinary sense, but specifically used in the plural, thus especially with the article of the supreme God, occasionally applied by way of deference to magistrates, and sometimes as a superlative, angels, exceeding God, gods, godly, great, judges, mighty. It's got all these different meanings, and like, you know, I'm pretty convinced Elohim, considering it means powers, it also means energy. So electricity, electricity, element. You got that concept, it's power. Now you look at the short version, which is just El, and it says mighty, God, goodly, great, idol, might, mighty one, power, strong. Right? And you get Elah, which maybe some dialects pronounced it Allah, would be surprised. That says deity, God, same thing basically. Yeah, so you know, you get this concept. Now when you get the plural on it, it can refer to more than one God, or more than one power, or more than one judge, ruler, etc., or angel. It can also refer to the one true Elohim, Yahuwah, because he has plural attributes. He's got more than one power at his disposal. His nature is more than one power. Right? So it depends again on the sentence structure to know how it's used. So if you go to Exodus 23, that's in 20, colon 3, thou shalt have no other Elohim before me. Don't have any gods before me. So if there's no other gods, why would he say that? They're not just all figments of people's imaginations. Right, this is where it gets a bit weird. I ran out of storage space, so I had to delete some stuff. So anyway, go to Yohanan or John 10:33. Yahushua answered them, is it not written in your law or Torah, I said ye are Elohim? Right, that's basically quoted in Psalm 82, which pretty much says, a psalm of Asaph, Elohim standeth in the congregation of the mighty, he judgeth among the Elohim. How long will you judge unjustly and accept the persons of the wicked? Selah. Defend the poor and fatherless. Do justice to the afflicted and needy. Deliver the poor and needy. Rid out of the hand of the wicked. They know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course. I have said, ye are Elohim, and all of you children of the Most High. But ye shall die like men, and fall like one of the princes, or rulers. Arise, Elohim, judge the earth, for thou shalt inherit all nations. Okay. So this is pretty much a key to the whole thing. I noticed this. This is what got me going. It's one of the things that got me going, researching it all. This first bit, Elohim standeth in the congregation of the mighty, he judgeth among the Elohim. Well, the first word for Elohim is Elohim. Where it says mighty, that's El as in the singular. And then he judgeth among the Elohim. So who's judging it? Is the Elohim judging or is the single El judging? Depends how you look at it. But either way, it doesn't matter how you read it. It's basically saying that there's one God in a congregation of other gods and he's judging them. That's completely different to what Christianity, Judaism and anything in between is pretty much taught forever, pretty much. At least with our Western upbringing. And this is considered heresy by mainstream viewers, but it's there. So what are you going to do with it? Right? People say, well, let's just talk about people. Ye shall die like men. No, it's obviously not talking about people. Otherwise it wouldn't have said that. And it gets deeper and deeper. But anyway, if you just move on with that bit, it's different. It's just different. And this is the other thing I noticed. Deuteronomy 32:8. If you read it in the King James, which is based on the Masoretic text, it pretty much says, when the Most High divided the nations, their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. For Yahuwah's portion is his people, Jacob, the lot of his inheritance. Well, he divided the nations, I believe, at the Tower of Babel, and he basically has Israel as his portion, or Jacob. Jacob and Israel is the same. But it says children of Israel. Where if you look at the Alaleks, or the Septuagint, it says according to the number of the sons of God. Agilon Theo. So, it's different. The Dead Sea Scrolls, according to the number of the sons of God, or the Bene Elohim. So what's going on here? You've got children of Israel versus angels of God versus sons of God. Something's been mucked about with, right? I submit the original reading was most likely the sons of God, or the Bene Elohim, right? Because it also seems that sometimes what we read in the English translations would say angels, and when you look behind it, it says Elohim. We'll get to that in a second. Sirah 17:17. This is an apocryphal book, right, or a hidden book. It's or an occultic book, or people just. It was in the King James Bible. They got rid of it, but you can still find it. It's up to you if you believe it or not. But that says, for the division of the nations of the whole earth, he set a ruler over every people, but Israel is Yahuwah's portion, right? So even there, it's talking about the same time period. He sets a ruler over these people. So he's talking about, I believe it's talking about Babel. Divided the nations at Babel, set a ruler, i.e. a god, or an angel or whatever, to each people group. Now, Psalm 8:4. What is man, that thou art mindful of him, and the son of man, that thou visitest him? For thou hast made him a little lower than the angels, and hast crowned him with glory and honour. Right? Let's look at the word for angel behind that. Right, Hebrew malach, right, says to dispatch as a deputy, a messenger, specifically of God, that is an angel, also a prophet, priest or teacher, ambassador, angel, king, messenger. Right? So it doesn't necessarily mean it has to be a certain race of a being. It's more like a job title. I'm technically an angel right now because I'm giving you a message. And then when I shut up, I'm not a messenger anymore. The Greek, angelos, says to bring tidings, messenger, angel. Same thing, right? So, go back to that same psalm. And when it says angels, behind it is the word Elohim, which can be translated angels, rulers, gods, powers, etc. So, for thou hast made him a little lower than the Elohim, or gods, and hast crowned with glory and honour. Again, totally different. Looks like that was hidden and swept under the carpet on purpose. But it's there. And it's there as well, in bold. Right? That's the Hebrew behind it. It seems to me that at Babel, when the languages were created and they had from one language, which I believe obviously was Hebrew, some would say it's Sumerian or Sanskrit, I believe it's Hebrew then, that got split into like 70 to 72 or more different languages. People like blah, 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 babbling. I can't understand you now. Oh, he's speaking Chinese, and so I'm funny somehow downloaded. I'm now speaking Chinese, so we'll band together. Okay, and those people, they speak in Welsh, and this person's speaking Welsh, so they'll band together. But it also seems, according to other bits in Besorah, that a leader was appointed to each people group. A son of Elohim was appointed to each people group. A heavenly being, an angel, a god, whatever you want to call it, it's a powerful being. At the end of the day, a god is a powerful being. Right? That's pretty much what went on there. And Genesis 11:1 says, and the whole earth was of one language and of one speech, which I believe is Hebrew. And obviously tells us about Babel. Now, again, you look into all the different languages, they all have similar themes, and all different religions have very similar themes. Nearly all the religions have a Messiah figure. They all have this concept of this being that's going to come down, and give himself for you, and then be resurrected. Some people use that as a way to try and debunk the Bible. And I say, no, the story's been there since the very beginning. It's just that it's got split and it's got twisted. When the language has changed, that would have twisted the story to start with. Plus, these leaders or gods or angels or whatever might have twisted it on purpose even, because they started to get people to worship them when they shouldn't have done. Right? And the other thing is, these are called Bnei Ha-Elohim. Some fell, some didn't, right? The Elohim's or Yahuwah's family, his initial heavenly skyward family, right? And the Besorah, or the good news, or the gospel, says that us believers, if we get redeemed, we get to become Bnei Ha-Elohim, sons of God. Or that, in fact, we are now, but we've not been transformed yet. So it seems that we're going to be doing the same thing, controlling the nations. You go to Lucas 19:17, and he said unto him, well, thou good servant, because thou hast been faithful in a very little, have authority over 10 cities. And the second time saying, Lord, thy pound hath given thee, have gained 5 pounds. And he said likewise to him, be thou also over 5 cities. So same kind of thing, here's a sector to rule over. Now, in one sense, it sounds a bit like what the New Age are teaching. They're saying, you get to be a god. And obviously most people say, that's a lie in the garden in Genesis 3. But I think the lie in the garden was more to do with the fact that you won't die. So Genesis 3:4 through to 5, because, and the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die. So I believe that part was a lie. For Elohim doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as Elohim, or gods, knowing good and evil. That bit might have been true. Right? Now again, I know this doesn't sound right, because it's not what we've been taught all the whole time. But if you go to Mark 12:25, he goes, for then they shall rise from the dead, they neither marry nor are given in marriage, but are as the angels which are in heaven. And Mark 22:30 basically says the same thing. All right. Now, Yochanan or John, he says in 1 John 3:1, behold, what manner of love the Father has bestowed upon us, that we should be called the sons of Elohim, or Bnei Ha-Elohim. Therefore the world knoweth not us not, because it knew him not. Beloved, now are we the sons of Elohim, and it doth not yet appear what we shall be. But we know that when he shall appear, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. That's essentially what I'm saying. The good news message, the gospel, the Besorah, whatever you want to call it, part of that, apart from just avoiding hell and going to heaven, sky, dimensions, the new Jerusalem, the new earth, etc., is that we get to be essentially upgraded to be light beings. We become sons. We are sons now, but we've not been changed yet. So in a way, we become gods, if you want to put it that way. But we're not, you're not a proper god. You're not going to, well, I doubt we're going to be creating universes, let's put it that way. That's Yahuwah's job. He's the one who made everything. But as his sons, we are little g gods, essentially. We have power that we don't have yet. So again, might be controversial, I know, but this is all over the scripture. But some of it's hidden under translations, as usual. So anyway, let me know what you think. I said it might wind up people up, this video, because it's a bit different, I know, but it's there, and I can't, you know, the more you try and ignore it, the more it just jumps out at you. So let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you again soon, hopefully soon.